Hey, Ange.
Hey Les, how you doing?
Smiling extra big today.
Smiling extra big. Okay, you're allowed.
All
You're
right.
allowed. This is
All right.
exciting.
It's very exciting. Well, first of all, I'm always excited. Here we are. We come to you with good stuff, but today is oh my gosh. All right.
Oh,
I'm gonna
oh.
I'm gonna contain myself. Be professional here. Trying to impress.
Okay, let's
So
see how long
welcome
that
to
lasts.
another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
I'm Angela, and that's Leslie, my best friend of almost 50 years. We are two free thinking 60 something year old Black women who have decided to be more bold and joyful as we live the rest of our lives. We invite you to come along with us. Today, we have I think he's up there as one
Oh,
of
he's up
our
there.
most intriguing and educational guests that we have had on. And of course, with Leslie and I, there's always a twist
There's always a twist.
in how we met him. So I'm going to allow Leslie to introduce him. Please stay with us. This is going to blow your mind.
I don't want to get interrupted and I don't want to forget. So, what I will ask you right now is hit like and subscribe. After you hear this episode, you know you're going to want to be on with us all the time. So, hit like, subscribe, and hit notifications so you can know when we bring all this good stuff to you. Do it right now.
There's the
And
button.
without further ado, I'm going to introduce the most interesting person. Isn't that what they say on that commercial? This is the most interesting man, but really, he really is. Dr. Hervé Damas. He is just like a modern Renaissance man. I think that's a really good way to talk about it because his life and his experiences have really covered the breadth of so many things, from sports and athletics to body consciousness and wellness to education to physiology and medicine, all the things. And it's just a fascinating story when you get to know him. And then we have a spiritual, he's like our brother in a way, because when we tell
Already.
you how this all came about, you're gonna be like, anyway, this dude right here with that gap in his teeth is Dr. Hervé Damas. Hi.
Welcome, welcome,
So,
welcome.
I don't mean to embarrass you. I'm just kind of gushing because, like, I'm a fangirl. How about that?
how about that? That's amazing. I was not expecting all that, but I'll
Yeah,
take it.
yeah.
I'll take it. God bless America.
Well, Dr. Damas, I know he's not a man who's shy to say, but he has had so many different career trajectories. He has been an NFL football player. He has been a physician. He is a countrywide or world renowned entrepreneur that has a business that is so successful. I have been following this man on the radio and through Urban View and Karen Hunter and Lurie Daniel Favors and Clay Kane. This man, I have been, whenever he comes on the radio, I'm with my notebook writing down stuff while I'm driving. So the connection that I'll let you guys know about later, how it all came together, is you're going to be like, what in the world?
What in the world?
So I'm speaking too much. Hi, tell us all about yourself a little bit.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I did not know that you've been listening
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
to
Wait till
Urban
you hear
View.
how it all unfolded.
Oh man, so those are good friends, good people of mine that I've met. Right in 2019, 2018,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I met Karen first,
Hmm.
virtually, digital, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. And then we established a friendship there. And then through her, I met the rest of the Urban View family, which was I think it was kind of kismet, because
Mm-hmm.
the audience, Urban View is my audience. It's us. And it was something
Yes,
that I thought was
absolutely.
really important for me, just talking to the two of you, given the space that I'm in now as it pertains to hemp and cannabis, medical marijuana in the US, and how it's particularly affected people of color, and how the dynamic or the paradigm has shifted in the country through legalization, hodgepodge
Mm-hmm.
network of efforts throughout the states, but we're still marginalized as that kind of train is leaving the station. There are very few of us who are passengers in that
Mm.
train in terms of entrepreneurial aspect of it or even the medicinal aspect of it, right? So we're
Mm-hmm.
missing out both things as this progresses. And we're the people that have really disproportionately suffered the most as a result of the prohibition policies that are now being kind of pulled back. So it
Absolutely.
was real important for me to make sure that, as I go into this and I do this, that I don't forget, like, this is really, really important culturally, criminal justice. There's a lot of aspects of it, medicinally, medically. There's a lot of things that are interwoven. And when you talk about our experience as, people of African descent in this country,
Yeah.
it's not one thing. It's very rich and layered.
Yes,
So they're
yes,
not
yes.
simple conversations, simple
Right,
solutions, and
right,
this is
Mm-hmm.
part of
right.
that.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
almost like a disruption of the way that we have used the plant cannabis and hemp culturally, right? I know throughout the Caribbean, being from Jamaica, I know throughout the context that prohibition has caused, and the criminalization that has caused this huge disruption in what has been a part of our experience culturally.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
we used to make ganja tea in Jamaica. We call it ganja. You make
Mhm.
ganja tea. The old people make ganja tea. I mean, it solves so many issues of the
Mm-hmm.
body.
Correct.
You just go and boil ganja tea. Nobody's thinking of it as something that is wrong or something that is detrimental. It's medicine.
Harmful or yeah.
It's
Yeah.
medicine.
Mhm.
And then we come here and
That's
get into this society, and then, as you said, it's criminalized, and we have become marginalized for using it in our own ways. And now, ta-da! It's a big deal, and other people are taking advantage of it.
Yes, yes.
correct.
We're
I think it
Bef
speaks to a broader disconnect between Western systems
yeah.
and indigenous and people of color, right?
Right,
So
right.
how we interact with the planet, how we see healing, healthcare, medicine, a more holistic, natural-based inclination that we have. And so
Yes,
you mentioned ganja tea, a
yes.
lot of that is inherent to not only our culture, but our belief systems and even like Rastas, it's a religion, it's a spiritual
It
movement, right?
absolutely
And
is.
so,
Yeah, yeah.
if you look at people of color, indigenous people, and how we approach healing, health, and wellness. It isn't a group of little systems like, hey,
Right.
we're gonna fix this little part and do
mm,
Yes,
that, right? We're gonna do
exactly.
this little thing, right?
Exactly.
So
Right.
it's an entire thing. And
Right.
oftentimes without that, we wind up having, less than optimal results in a system that's not really
yes.
built for us, that we don't
Yes.
really naturally kind
Right.
of vibe with. We don't
Yeah,
blend with
yeah,
that really well. So we kind of exclude ourselves, and
yeah.
sometimes we're naturally excluded through systems that have been set up that,
Yes,
For
that's
don't
right.
think
sure.
about us. When
Right.
they do think about us, they're like, the hell with them anyway. And
Yeah.
so again, this is part, right? So this is part of it. The cannabis and the marijuana is part of like a subset of a greater issue at whole. It's
Right.
how
Sure.
we
Sure.
live in a Western environment and a Western world, and how we take care of ourselves and try to
Right.
maneuver and find what's best for us.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
listen, I'm
It's
gonna
self-determination.
that part.
It is
I'm
self-determination. Yeah.
I wanna stick a pin here, as my mother would say, because we've given a taste of what a big part of this conversation is going to be about. I want to go back to,
Can we go back 4 months ago?
I would like to go back. Has it been 4 months?
It's
Four
been about
months
4 months.
to how this point in time here came about, right? You all know that Leslie and I had our high school reunion. We had a few episodes about it. Big deal because we're on the planning committee for Brooklyn Technical High School class of 80. And so we've been talking about it, right? Thank you, thank you. We've been talking about it, right? So something that happened the Friday before that, well, that homecoming weekend, the Friday, something happened that is how this all
Okay, so
came
I'm
about.
gonna
So
jump in
Leslie's
because
gonna
I'm
tell the
excited.
story because she's like, go ahead, Leslie, tell them what
I want to
happened.
hear this.
So
Yeah, because some of this happened
Bated breath.
before we
I'm sitting here
started.
with bated breath.
right.
We're like, we're not gonna tell you.
All right. We're minding our own business.
Minding our own business.
So the Pier 57 in the city had a tech takeover. So what they did, which was really wonderful, they invited all of the people in town and all of the different classes to meet at Pier 57 and just hang out there, meet different people from different classes. And then the following day would be the school visit, and then everyone would do their individual class activities.
Right.
So Angela and I went to the tech takeover that Friday night. We had on our silver lame pants and
We'll
our
give you some
light up
pictures again to
sneakers,
remind you.
and we were just, you know. So we go into this corner, and one of the football coaches is talking and holding court. And he's chatting and chatting and chatting, and we're just hanging out with people
We're
now
bouncing
of all
around.
ages and all classes.
Yep, yep.
And coach says, yeah, that dude Hervé over there, go over there. He'll give you some marijuana. No, he
We're like,
says
huh?
something like, I think
Because
he
wait a
said,
minute,
no,
this
I
is an
think he
older
said,
white man. This is an older white
He
man.
said,
So we were
no,
like,
he
what?
said, he'll give you some, he's over there giving out weed. That's what he said.
He might have said pot. I don't.
I think he said weed. So listen, I'm a black woman. This white man is pointing to this brown brother over there talking about he's giving out weed. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of slur is that? I'm like, just, you know, okay. So I'm like, I'm like, okay. So I go over to the crowd, and now Hervé is over there with a couple of his classmates from 90, and Angela and I just start chatting with them, and we're talking, and we're
So
like,
much fun.
we're talking about them, and like, what do you think of the class? And I'm now in interview mode, and I'm videotaping and stuff. I'll send you the tape. And had a great time, had fun with drinking and whatever. Okay, maybe we were there like 20 minutes or something, not very long. All right, so the evening is over. Everybody says, nice meeting you, take care, and all of this stuff.
And by the way, we found out that that gentleman was Dr. Damas's coach while he was at
His
Tech.
football coach, right?
You know,
Right.
Benedetto.
Coach Benedetto,
Benedetto.
right.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
coach.
So Ange and I went to the school visit the following Saturday, and we sat through the ceremony, the homecoming ceremony. At the end of the program, they have the credits and all, and thanks and contributions and all. And Ange is sitting on my right. And I'm reading, and one of the people who they thank and who contributed, Dr. Hervé Damas. I said, Ange, oh shit, Ange. I said, you ain't gonna believe it. I said, you're not gonna believe it. I said, Dr. Damas is the guy we were talking to last night. That's him. That's him. I was like, what the heck? I'm like, I listen to him all the time. I got his number here to call his office. The whole thing came full circle.
It
And
was-
I'm like, I can't believe it. And we're looking around now. Is he here? Is he here? We're
Did
like,
I
we
get
got
you
to
some
talk to
weed
him.
that night? Wait a minute, did you get the weed?
We got none. We got
You
none,
got
but it's
So,
none.
okay. There's still time.
so Coach B's comment and your name as a thank you for contributing. You're so
By the way,
generous.
thank you for
That's
that.
And you sitting here talking to us and chatting. Mind you, he never mentioned what he did. He never mentioned, no, because I came over to him and I'm like, oh, so you were a football player. I don't know if you remember that. And he's like, wow, you
yeah,
do
I
your
do remember.
homework. He said, you do your homework. That's because coach told me. What do I know?
I do remember
And I was not going to say that, hey, can I have some weed? That the guy is like,
It was a setup. No.
that.
so
What's
at that point, while we were sitting in the auditorium, is when I put the whole thing together. And I'm like, I have been listening to this brother for so long, and I had no idea.
And
That's
now,
amazing. That is funny. That's like one of those things in a movie. After you watch the at
yes,
the end of the movie, they start like, reflashing the scenes, and he's like,
Exactly.
exactly,
Then
that
you
part,
get it.
remember
exactly.
that part?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It was so wonderful. And of course, we had to reach out and see if he would come on our podcast. And absolutely, he said he would come on, and here he is. And so this is we told him just before we started recording that this will be unlike any other podcast or interview that you've had, because you have such a fascinating story, like how you came. By the way, you started med school at 33. Leslie started med school at 36. So this idea of having a whole life before med school, having so many pivots in your life, being led, kind of seeing and feeling, intuiting and having and listening to elders, in setting your direction for what's next. It's just so fascinating. So we want to spend a little time before we go into the really important information you have to share with everyone around your work with
Wellness and
wellness and cannabinoids and health and healing and pain relief and all of that. If you would just share some of your story, like how you came to be right now. Like you don't have to, you can start at tech if you'd like.
I
You can
almost spit
start
out
Since
at
my
it's
that.
iced tea
Yeah,
just now.
watch you sip it on it. You can start at that. I'll
Well, he
tell you, that's
probably
an
was a
interesting
sauce.
story.
No.
Right? Huh?
Were you a
What do you
sauce?
say?
Were you a
What's that?
sauce? Did
Oh,
What
they
is
what do
didn't
that?
you
have
mean?
sauces in 90?
They must have had sauce. Yes, they did. They were the police, the
The
student
student
police
police,
of the school.
Oh, absolutely,
student of security
absolutely
or
not.
something. No.
No,
Oh, I
What-
think you know what? Now that you bring it, absolutely not. No.
yeah, many of the Asian students were the sauce.
They were the
It's like,
sauce.
and we were just
I can
running
tell you right
mayhem.
now.
Did they allow you to get on the elevator in the 90s?
In the
Or did you have
next,
to
so
run
when
up
I
the
got
7 floors like we did?
when I first I got there in '86, and they were letting
Hmm.
us use the elevators for a little bit, and then things had gotten out of hand. I was there when Brooklyn it was like the middle of the '80s,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
things were on fire. The Decepticons, I don't know if you guys remember the
I do. I
Decepticons.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they were, so
Wow.
they had there was a lot of people from tech that were Decepticons. They actually, one of the founders, a brother named Tim Stowe, was from tech. Yeah, he was
Really?
the FBI's most wanted. Yeah, he was like a notorious.
What?
What?
Yeah,
I
yeah, there was
told
a
you we were
lot of,
famous.
I
I
tell
told
you,
you the
tech.
school was famous.
yeah. So,
If we're gonna do it, we
that
do
was
it
the thing.
big.
There's a whole story behind
Hmm.
that. Because of the times, and people thought it was sweet because we was smart, right? Quote unquote
Right,
Yeah.
smart.
right.
So, so it was kind of like you had to, you could be smart, but you're still from the hood, right?
Yeah.
You're still from around the way. You got the chops to get into tech, but that doesn't mean
Yes.
that there's other sides of you, right?
Exactly.
That
Yeah,
are
yeah,
there, right?
yeah. We're
Right,
whole
So
right.
people,
that's how
sure.
that
Yeah.
thing started, right? So I would say for me, honestly, and that's really how I wound up going to tech. I grew up in Flatbush, East 21st and Newkirk Avenue in
Okay,
Brooklyn. And
okay. We're on
Ocean
Linden
and
Boulevard.
Cortelyou.
Ocean and Cortelyou.
oh, all right.
Linden and
Let me
Bedford.
find out. So, in the early 80s, things had gotten really, really hot. It turned
Yeah.
into like a full-on war zone.
Yeah.
And it was no longer safe for we didn't have park anybody who's grown up in the city know you don't have like green spaces and park. You're just playing in the street. You play on the sidewalk or you're playing in the middle of it, actually in the street, and somebody's gotta say car.
Right,
or
right,
something
car,
like
that's
that,
Yeah.
right? So like that was the playground. And then, things just started getting really dangerous. It's crack hit the scene. There was a lot of stuff going on, the war on drugs, police enforcement. And
Right,
so
right.
my mother, which is interesting, and my mother was like, you can't go hang out, play outside anymore, which is
Ooh.
like, you crazy? Like, it's my whole social life. Like,
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
like, that's the whole thing. And she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah, it's getting too dangerous outside for you. Like, and, kudos to her for being a good mom. She
Yes.
saw it. She was like, hey, I can tell you right now, all the kids that's spending a lot of time outside, remember saying that bad things are starting to happen.
Yes.
She was saying that she was like, bad things are starting to happen out there.
Right.
So I got to limit your time. And I was like, no,
Sure. You're killing me, Ma.
Yeah, you're killing me, right? It was so bad that my little friends I remember we had a second floor apartment. They used to come by my window and make fun of me. They used to say I was barred. That was like, you barred? You can't come outside, you barred. And I'm like, no, I am. And so
She knew.
she knew.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
things
God
got
bless her.
really hot. Yeah. So what happened was I remembered like just being bored out of my mind. One summer I was stuck in a house and I was like, you got to let me out. Like, come on. Like, and she was like, why don't you go read a book? Because I had watched all the TV I could watch. I watched all the Gilligan's Island, all the like my three sons.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, I did. The whole series with them, right? Like, I
Get
watched
Smart.
all of that. Get Smart, right? It was like, it turned into soap operas every night type or something like that. All my children, I was like, I can't do this anymore. She said, why don't you go sit and read a book? I was like, a book? It's summertime. It's great. What do you?
Yeah, we don't read in the summer.
Yeah, right. This is like, and so this went on for a couple of weeks, and I protested and I did all that. And one day we had these old World Book encyclopedias. And I still remember this. I was bored out of my mind. She had bought me some used encyclopedias. And I just grabbed it. I didn't have anything to do. I opened up, wound up on the page like about the Apollo space program. No lie. It was like, what? This is like for real. I actually did not I didn't know that they actually had sent people to space. I thought that was just all like TV stuff, right? They didn't talk about astronauts. It was like, come on, we watch TV shows, whatever, right? And then I'm looking at this stuff, I'm like, wow, they actually like this is a real thing. And like, look at these dudes. Like, look at and they had like cool names. This one dude was like Buzz Aldrin.
Yes,
right? And I'm reading this, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And I started thinking to myself, I'd like to do something like that, right? So that led me to getting really into astronomy and aerospace, right? So like I start reading about like constellations and stars and like ships and planes and all this stuff. So I'm all into this stuff now, right? Because I'm just like you can actually do this, right? I'm naive. I'm a kid.
No longer bored.
Right? But
that's right.
Yeah, right. But like, every kid wants to be an astronaut. Oh, Mom, I want to be. But I was like, yo, you can actually do this. like, let's do this.
Yeah.
I made up my mind. We're gonna do this. So we wound up. I'm gonna fast forward. We wound up doing a little American dream thing and making enough money to move out of Brooklyn, go to Queens, get a little house in Queens. So we're moving on up. And the crack and stuff followed us to Queens. So it wasn't like fuel running, right? It was going on over there too.
It was expanding.
And it was expanding, And
By
had a
design.
gentleman, of course, had a gentleman who used to come around the classrooms. He was like the don't do drugs kind of guy. He would like
Hmm.
social studies class. He'd come in once a week and be like, "Hey kids, I'm the cool adult. Don't do drugs." That
Yeah,
guy who would
yeah.
come in
I
like
think
the
we've
drug
had that
guy.
guy too. He came to our room
Yeah,
too.
right. Yeah. So I remember that guy in his icebreaker every class when he would ask a piece of trivia. And
Mm-hmm.
he'd be like, "Hey, if you can get it right, I'll give you some money."
Mm-hmm.
He came into class and asked some astronomy trivia,
Oh,
right? So,
wow.
right? So I put my hand up and I was like, I knew the answer.
Oh,
And
wow.
he was like, "No, put your hand down." And I was like, "But I know the answer." And
Right.
like I remember this because it was like a show. It was like a scene from a movie. I'm in the back of class. I'm big. I'm in the back. They pull the taller kids in the back. He's in
Yeah.
the front. I got my hand up. And the kids, I'm going back and forth with them. And every time I say something, the class turns around. Whoa. And then he said, "Put your hand up." And he turned back. Look. And I'm like, "No, but I got the answer." And
Did
he's
it?
like,
Oh.
"No, you don't." And he turned back around to me, right? And I'm like, "But I do." Right? So he's like, "What's the answer?" Right? The answer was like, Alpha
Members.
Centauri, which is like the closest star here outside of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "How did you know?" He was like, "How did you know that?" I was like,
I
"Because I
read.
know this stuff, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be reading." And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, yeah." He's like, "No, I think somebody from another class told you. If you know, it's got a sister star. What's the sister star's name?" And I was like, "Proxima Centauri." And the class was like, "What?" And I went, yeah, exactly. So he was like, "How do you know this?" And I was
Beautiful.
like,
How
I'm
"Because
dare
I'm
he
telling you.
said
really
that you
interested
But
in
you
cheated?
this
know
How
stuff,
what?
dare
right?"
he?
Right. So at the end of the class, he stops me after class and he goes, "You really interested in this stuff?" And I was like, "Hey, man, this is going to sound crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to be an astronaut." Right. And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm serious. That's why I know all this stuff. I've been studying it on my own." And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Well, there's a school in Brooklyn
Wow.
and they've got an aeronautical engineering program.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
think they send
What?
people to the Air Force Academy." He goes, "And I
What?
think if you go to the Air Force Academy, you can go to the astronaut training program." And I was like, "What? What's it called?" He
Oh
goes,
my
"It's
gosh.
called Brooklyn Tech." And I was in eighth grade.
Oh.
And he's like, he's like, "You got to take a test for it, the whole thing. And if you get in, you can go. Like, if that's what you want to do, they can get you there." Right. So remember, they used to give us like a little book. You could choose the
Yes.
schools you're in eighth grade, right?
Yes,
Yes.
So I got
yes.
the
With
book
the
and I
list
looked it
of
up
all the
and yep,
schools and what
well,
you
the
had to
schools,
do.
yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
looked it up and it had, yeah, he's right. There's Brooklyn Tech and you got to go take the test.
Yes.
So and it's like, there's the major, aeronautical engineering. So I
Mm-hmm.
Did
remember
you
I
study
went,
for the test?
I did not study for the
Neither
test.
did
I went
I.
Yes,
that
We didn't
yes.
study either. We just took the test and we
nah,
got in.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
We didn't
nowadays,
study. We didn't do
Yeah.
prep. I wouldn't get
nowadays
in
there's no
today. I wouldn't get in today.
no, because
No.
everybody's taking prep courses. If your family's got resources, they can pay for
Yes.
test
Yeah.
prep,
Yeah.
and you get
Yeah.
you get this exceptional education, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back then, you just went in and took the test. So I went in and
Yeah.
took the
Yeah.
test. Um, I got in.
That's
Clearly.
awesome.
I went to tech. Was an aero major. I was
So was
like,
my
Go
I'm
brother. My
ahead.
brother was class of 78. He was an aero major too. Yeah.
wow, right?
Yeah.
I was an aero major, and
Mm-hmm.
then I started playing. I started playing football, and I fell in love with football. I
Mm.
fell in love
Wow.
with football. And my senior year, I was USA Today Top 100. I was like an
Mm.
All-American, high school, all-state,
Yes.
all that stuff.
Did we
And
tell
the
you? Did we
Benedetto,
tell
I
you?
remember. So he had asked me, "What school do I want to go to?" And I was like, "I want to go to the Air Force Academy."
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he was like, "I want to go to the Air Force Academy. That's my number one school."
Right.
So the second to last game of the year, we won. We beat Canarsie, made it to the playoffs.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah,
Canasi was a big
which is the first
rival.
time in like yeah, which is the first time we had made it to the playoffs in like a decade
Wow.
or so.
Oh
So
my
we've been,
gosh.
and I go into the locker room. I was there lunchroom at the time. I walk in. I've forgotten all about this, right? And I see these dudes in uniforms looking sparkling.
Mm.
And I walk past them, and one of the other coaches says, "Hey, those guys are there to see you." And I was
Oh,
like, "Me?"
wow.
Right? It's like I go over and they're like, "Hey, we want to offer you a scholarship to come play football for the Air Force
Oh
Academy."
my
And I was like,
gosh. Oh my
"What?"
gosh.
Was like, "What?" It was
What?
crazy. Like it
Oh
was
my
like a whole
Hallelujah.
thing.
gosh.
We made it to the
What?
playoffs. These dudes were, and they were in the uniform, like they were in their
Right.
formal uniform, the impressive
Impressive as
stuff, like
hell.
not the casual stuff.
What?
This was like
I'm
the
like
stuff that they're
tearful.
like,
First of all, you are
whoa,
making me
like,
cry. And let me tell you,
yeah,
when I'm interrupting you for 1 second, because I got teary when I heard the guy tell you, you don't know that. You must have cheated. I had an experience similar to that in elementary school where one of my teachers really demeaned me and didn't respect my intelligence or my talent.
yeah,
And I thank God that you and I and many others have overcome that and didn't let a naysayer like that. Turns out he was helpful to you. In my case, it wasn't. But how many of us, our dreams have been like thrown away because
Hmm.
people, we are there as teachers. I used to be a high school science teacher. We teachers are supposed to encourage and bring the best out of their students. That's why we're there. And for people to step on our, crush our dreams and our spirits. You could have had that experience. I didn't listen to my guy. I laughed at him in a way, but it's something that I still think about 50 years later.
Hmm.
it's amazing that you say that because that was one of many like times that I've had to kind of like face off against people. Maybe it's because I had three older brothers and you're just
Hmm.
like used to like scrapping for your little
Yeah.
space,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you've been in a situation where like,
Yeah.
if you don't push back, like you're gonna get squashed, right?
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think maybe that isn't in, having, growing up on in where I grew up, that was another thing like, you've got, in order to survive that, you
Yeah.
got to have a certain amount of hardness to you, or you ain't going to make
Right.
it,
Right.
Yeah.
or
Right.
it's going to
Right.
be tough for you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
even in high school, the Benedetto, there was when I fell in love with football. I remember us having a meeting and he was like just talking to us about like getting our priorities straight. And he
Hmm.
asked everyone like, how many of you guys think you're gonna play college football? How many guys can a scholarship, college football, put your hands up. And as he went along the questions, people started putting their hands
Hands
down.
down.
And then the last question was, how many you think are gonna go pro? And I still had my hand up. And
Oh
he looked
my
at me like,
God.
he looked at me. He was
I
Oh,
like,
love it. I love
he
it.
looked at
who
me
you
like,
is, brother?
what?
Who the hell are you? And you,
Like, what's up with you in that hand? And I was sitting there with my hand up, kind of like, yeah,
That's
man, like,
right.
yeah,
why
it's
not?
me. It's
That's
Yeah,
me.
right.
yeah, right.
Where's the
I
lie?
not
Where is the
I
lie?
told him that. I remember saying that to everyone in the room, like, hey, it's a long shot. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody, it is a long shot, but there is that person that
Hmm.
does it, right? So why
Amen.
not me? At
Amen.
least think about it.
Do you
So anyway,
know that's how I got into medical school? That's how I started thinking. I'm like,
nice.
first of all, people get in.
Hmm.
People
Yeah,
get in.
people do it. People do it.
People get in.
People do
So
it.
why
Why
not
not?
me? Who better
Hmm.
than
Yeah,
me?
the first step
Yeah.
is believing. The first
Exactly.
step is
So go
believing that
ahead.
you're the one that gets it.
You are something else, brother. You
So,
got me
so I
crying,
wound
laughing.
up, that's hilarious. So I wound up actually not going to the Air Force Academy. That's a whole other story. I didn't have
Hmm.
the proper guidance because no one had ever, like at Tech, playing football, whatever. No one in my family, no one knew what to do. And I didn't
Yeah.
get my congressional nominations in on time. My
Mm-mm.
man, Floyd Flake sent me one, but Alphonse D'Amato did not. I don't know if you remember, there was a
Of
senator back in
course.
the
Of
Of
day.
course.
Yeah,
course.
I wrote to his
Yes.
office. I just found out recently that they're only allowed to send a certain amount, and he didn't send. He wrote me back saying he had sent all the letters in. I didn't know like you could write all the representatives. I didn't know.
Right.
So I
Yeah,
had
Yeah, you
only
didn't
yeah.
had,
know. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't have the guidance.
It
So I
still
Wow.
wound up
came
going
out
to,
good.
yeah, I
Beautiful.
wound up going to Hofstra, went to Lehigh, I went to Hofstra, had a great time at Hofstra. I wound up going to
Clearly.
the Bills. Signing, yeah, I wound up signing with the Bills, All
Whoop, whoop,
American at
Can
Hofstra.
you
whoop,
wait,
whoop.
stop right there.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
No,
like
the
glossing
whole,
over like
just slow
all the
down.
brothers just
Because that was a
sign up
long
with the
time
Slow
Bills.
ago.
down. Slow your
That
roll.
was,
I
that
Slow
mean,
was
your
before the
roll.
turn of the century. That was,
Slow your roll. Allow
that
the
was
elders to
before.
just sit in that for a little bit. All American
how
at
Yeah.
how
Hofstra.
many people from Brooklyn Tech? How many people from Flatbush? How many people from Brooklyn? How many people go to the Buffalo Bills? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
know that you know your story and whatever, but it's a big fucking deal.
It's a BFD.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
BFD.
And
Yeah,
I know that that wasn't your that wasn't how it ended. Wait, there's more.
There's so
But you
much
know what
yeah,
I
more.
that wasn't,
mean?
that
But
wasn't
it's
the
a
plan,
big
right? So I
deal.
thought
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be in a spaceship at one point, right? Like I did. Fine. When the Challenger exploded, like we was the kids in the classroom,
Yeah.
they brought the TV watching that thing. I was one of the kids that was like, "Oh my God," like
Right.
I was
That
like,
could
"This
have
is
been
gonna
me. I was
Yeah.
standing on
yeah,
Cortelyou Road
that was
when that happened.
right."
Cortelyou and in East 18th Street when that happened.
Wow.
Wow.
Turns out Ronald McNair, one of my fraternity brothers, was in that, right? So he's accused of bro, one of the first black
Ah.
astronauts. So it was a
Right,
lot
Yes.
of
right,
like
right, right.
things. So I wound up, going to Hofstra, Dean's List, all that good stuff. Went to the Bills, and I blew my knee out
Mm,
first year in the league,
Mm.
and that's the reality of life, right? Like that sport is very hard on the body.
yes.
So it took me a couple of years to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with myself
Mm-hmm.
because,
Mm-hmm.
the whole astronaut thing, I'd given up on it. I went all in on the football thing, and now here I was. I had made it, and now, you fall back down the mountain. You're no longer. It was such a big part of your identity, who you were for a long
Sure.
time, kind of
Sure.
big man on campus. So you're doing all this stuff. You're on
Sure.
team. You're
Yeah.
doing the whole thing, and now it's like it's gone. So there was a couple of years there that I was just kind of like trying to get myself back into the league, rehabbing. But yeah, I had a really, really bad knee injury. So back then they were like, I was like Humpty Dumpty. They couldn't put me back together again.
Right.
It was like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
didn't have that kind of sports medicine. So I started I taught for a little bit, like I substitute taught for a little bit. So I had a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of fun there at Westinghouse. I coached at Tech, and then
Mm.
they asked at Hofstra to go back and coach the players on the stuff that I'd learned in the NFL,
Mm.
strength and
Mm-hmm.
conditioning and those kind of things. And then
Yeah.
they were like, and then we'll pay for graduate school. And I was like, I don't even want to go to, I don't even know what I want to do. So I just went back and I started in strength and condition as a strength and conditioning coach. And I was going to graduate school. It was free. So
Mm.
it's getting a master's physical education at Hofstra. And I got
Wow.
really into like sports, sports training and like physical fitness. And I got a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch of certifications. I want to, you know, I wound up going deep into that. I don't even know. I was lecturing for the National Strength and Conditioning Association. I was writing stuff. I was
Wow.
speaking for the American
Incredible.
College of Sports Medicine. I
Of
was
course you
teaching.
were.
Oh,
Of course you
Yeah, we were
were.
doing a whole bunch of stuff. I was running gyms, and I wound up becoming a professor of health and exercise science and adjunct at Trenton State College. While I was there, they changed the name to the College of New Jersey. So I was running their wellness center, and I was teaching in the Department of Health and Exercise Science. And then that's when life changed for me. My mom got diagnosed with breast cancer for a second time,
okay,
and
I'm gonna pause you there because listen, folks, there's so much more to this story, to this the series of pivots that you're hearing, this bobbing and weaving that Dr. Damas has been doing and this incredible life that is unfolding for him. We're going to stop here and we're going to have a part two where he talks about how this very painful part of his life, now emotionally painful through the illness of his mom, how that is going to set him on another trajectory. Stay tuned for part two.